I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our entire team needs to be executed after tonight.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Low, man. Low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh yeah.
At two, new system that I'm using right now. Let's do this one more time.
Yeah, right. Explain this to me like I'm retarded.
That won't be that hard.
Yeah, sorry guys. Let's start that one again. The UK must have extradited my audio. Absolutely. I'm Andrew, lawyer in Asia. This is Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Oh boy. Boomer mindset already. Scuff the intro already. Oh man, that was so fucking boomer. Oh god. Professional streamer, everybody. Hey, professional streamer. Hey, if I can do it, what the, like, okay, everyone's like, it's so hard being a streamer. It's so difficult. It's so hard. If my boomer ass can do this, you too have a chance. All right, guys. So I'm back here. So let me explain you guys, because I know this is something that you guys like missed me for a couple days, and I actually plan to be doing doubles every day and stream twice a day. But I had some technical issues. And if you are a member of my locals, you saw this, but for those that aren't, let me explain it real quick. So I get really sentimentally attached to my equipment. This guy down here, this little cam link down here, had served me well for 5 years of service. This is Camlink Sama. Camlink Sama was actually a gift from another streamer who I didn't know you can't just buy a Sony camera. I have a Sony a6400. I didn't know you can't just plug it directly into your computer and just start streaming. I was like, oh yeah, you can't do that. And they look at me and they're like, you're an idiot. You're absolutely an idiot. You can't do that. So they handed me this. They're like, look, take this. I have an extra cam link. And I never bothered to buy a backup, because as a backup, I have a Logitech Brio, a webcam. But I noticed, hey, the quality on the Brio, it's good, but it's not as good as streaming in nice 4K here with Cam Link. Well, that died. It gave 5 years of service. It died. Now, I was hoping it was just the connection, like the cable between the micro USB to the HDMI connection, and I was hoping I could just replace the cable. Well, no, it wasn't just the cable. It was actually the connection. So now that is replaced by the Duo 4K Sama over here, or Duo 4K Chan, you know, because they're nice and young here. So that's the upgrade, which is actually better because now I can dual input stream, which is going to be really cool if I ever, which I may do in the future, have a PC for like presentations, or if I ever do gaming or whatever else. So I have a PC for that, and then a dedicated maybe laptop just for streaming. So like my StreamYard runs on one, and any other stuff I'm pulling up or whatever is on number 2. So if one crashes or like one gets taxed out, the other one, it's not really putting a straining on the streaming PC, and the streaming PC stays online, right? So that's kind of how I was thinking of doing that. So that's just a little bit of update for you guys. Obviously, I missed everybody here today. But, there's a lot to look out for, a lot to be positive in the world. For me, when I woke up this morning and I tuned into this, I was like, all is right with the world. I was like, look at this. You got Kason in a maid outfit. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I mean, like, pretty. What else do you want? What else do you want in the world other than your best girls in a maid outfit? It's absolutely great. But a little bit of lighthearted stuff before we start here, which was really great. I noticed our goldfish princess, Mari, who she invited me to play Roblox with her. I have to do that at some point when I'm not traveling and moving around like crazy. But Mari engaged in some slander today. She engaged in some slander of King Philip. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm going to show this real quick for you, just to show you the slander of King Philip. Check this out.
Yeah. But I mean, if you do, you can be the dark side Phil of VTubers. That's high praise.
What is that?
Do you know who? Oh, I get it. Teach you about dark side Phil.
I don't know what that is.
He's a man.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I know.
That's terminal.
But it gets worse.
I mean, that's true. This is actually factual. Being a man is terminal. It's true. It's true.
Okay.
He is a chronic e-beggar who has been streaming for maybe like a decade. And
Old as fuck.
His biggest conundrum was him jerking his dick off live on stream.
What?
Yeah.
What? And did he get banned?
Maybe for a bit. I don't really remember.
What the? Why would you do that?
He acted surprised. He said, "Oh, the camera's on." He said by accident. Yeah.
Oh.
What the heck?
I mean, that could be you.
It could be.
I mean, I only in the Mary collab, I guess.
I can't believe you've never heard about DSP before.
No, DSP. Sounds like an internet provider.
It does.
So that's a good clip. That one made me laugh. That was a very good one today. I was like crying, laughing. I was like, slander, except for the fact that everything she said was true. And in America, the truth is an absolute defense to slander. So it's actually not slander, but it's just hilarious instead. It's not slander if it's all true. And it's all true. So there we go. King Philip felted by a goldfish. Oh, man. Real quick, King Lugia with not just one, but 2 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for both of those, King Lugia. Appreciate that. Absolutely 100%.
Hello, beso de pato, man.
And then followed up by Herzog Kalvan Osra Chechen, who said 1, 2, 3 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you for all 3 of those. Herzog Kal, appreciate that. Vielen Dank. I was on the fence whether I'm going to, by the way, for you, because Herzog Carl, you're absolutely the best. You're absolutely number one. So you know what? I'm gonna drop. Let's see. I want to drop a custom one for you here. Let's see. We'll drop the Pippa.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh yeah.
Appreciate that, Herzog Kyle. Appreciate you. So by the way, guys, I am going to be going to, speaking of Herzog, so going over there to the German side of things. I will be in Germany. I'm going to be in Germany as of Wednesday Asia time, so probably about Thursday. In your part of the world, I'll be there for about almost a week, a little under a week. I am going to be trying to stream. It'll be my travel setup. So I am going to try to stream. I'm not planning to do a lot during the day. In fact, I'm planning to stay inside a lot to really avoid a lot of the bullshit. But I will be giving some updates there. I'll be doing some recordings. So I'll be giving you a how is Europe, like the current state of Europe, because I've been to Europe so many times. I mean, I've seen all the countries in Europe. I'm not even kidding. I've been to Liechtenstein, Andorra, Monaco, like Luxembourg. Like the only place I haven't been is ironically Iceland and some of the Scandies. Like I haven't been to Norway and I've been to Finland, but not like all of Finland. Ironically, I really haven't been to Helsinki, which is weird, but I've been to like Oulu, which is in the north, if any of you know Finnish geography. That said, I will give an update on that. I will be streaming, but just want to let people know there will be a little gap there, 24-hour gap, probably when I'm traveling, where I won't be streaming. But that'll be fun. I haven't been back to Europe in a very, very, very long time. Mostly because, well, I've been over here in Asia and I'd like to explore things I haven't seen. And I frankly feel like I've seen most of it, except for like Eastern Europe. I mean, like I haven't been to North Macedonia or like, I don't know where I haven't been. Like Transnistria, so I've been to Ukraine, ironically. So it should be interesting to give a report on that. I'll be talking about that when I get back there. All right. So let's continue right here. Tinkerland says, I'm on the night shift today, so I can actually catch a stream. Hurrah! Awesome. Being on the night shift and instead of doing your job, paying attention to me and my stream is actually
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
I want to give a shout out to all those night shift workers that ended up watching streams, watching videos. I appreciate you. I notice you. There's a lot of truckers out there who watch too. Big shout out to you guys working through the night, sticking around, hanging out. And even if you can't send a super chat or whatever, because your boss might see, just smash the like button. That's the least you can do. Just smash that like. We got over almost 700 people here. Actually, we're at 666 right now, which is very, very uncomfortable as we switch topics. So do appreciate that if you guys hit the like. Also, Major Spike 9000 gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Absolutely great. You know what? No matter what they say about you, Major Spike, you are not a monkey. You're absolutely a Chad. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. Wait, someone says I have a hair on my cheek. Do I have a hair on my cheek? I don't think I do. Is it over here? Is it over here? Is there hair on my cheek? Okay, whatever. I think I got it. All right. So let's talk Taiga. So this is something I've already talked a little bit about, but I want to go into more depth, not just to talk about Taiga, but to explore a little bit of a juicy topic, which is going to get us in trouble. We're actually going to get demonetized for this, but I want to educate folks on the law regarding, and this is going to be really fucking spicy, regarding the Miller test and obscenity. And also we'll talk about the definition of what is quote unquote illicit pornographic material. Once again, this is for educational and legal purposes only. We will not be showing anything spicy here, right? We're keeping it PG-13, but it is talking about this topic and the legality of this topic because it is something hotly debated. And it's also something that is wildly misquoted on the internet because people who might be in Australia or in the UK or in Argentina, where there's certain different laws that apply, might not be talking the same language as someone in the US or in Germany or in Russia or in Japan, right, where they have different legal standards. So we're going to talk about that tonight because it's part of this topic. And it's something that needs to be clear, my stance on this, because my stance is, okay, well, what's the legal standard in your jurisdiction? And that's my opinion. Then I talk about law and I talk about legal education. Whatever your subjective morality is your opinion. And you can feel whatever way you want to feel about it. That's your decision. Be your own judge on that. So we're going to talk about that today. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because obviously we're talking about the VTuber Bungo Taiga. Let me just pull up their, I don't have like a generic picture of them. So let me just pull up a picture here. So let's see. Yeah, that'll work. So we've got, this will work. So we've got Taiga here. And Tiga is actually Canadian, which is relevant because they have a different age of consent and the laws will be different in Canada. But here's Tiga here. You got old Tiga over here, who's been streaming for a while since 2020, debuting on Twitch, but also streamed on YouTube. And as we've said before, there's YouTube and Twitch can both be very fickle, and they both have their problems. Twitch likes to discriminate, particularly against female VTubers. They're really on those outfits that the female VTubers wear. So they kind of knock them because they compete with the e-girls, and the e-girls get jealous, they get salty, so they end up knocking down VTubers, especially the female VTuber models or female looking VTuber models. Whether or not there's a female behind them is irrelevant. Could be a dude with a voice changer, it doesn't matter. They look at the model and they say, it's too spicy, shows too much boob, strike on Twitch. YouTube is generally more clear about the models, like what's okay, what's not okay. However, what YouTube engages in way more fuckery about is their policies and what is appropriate for their community standards or not. Also, YouTube appears to be a little bit more vulnerable to mass reporting campaigns, where folks will go out and engage in mass reporting. So, so from what I noticed, because I was doing research on this, since the last video, it appears that like all of Taiga's Twitter accounts have been banned or suspended. So Taigaverse suspended, account suspended. X suspends accounts which violate the rules of X, right? And then you've got Torexaholic, which was another account. Also, user doesn't exist. So these have either been banned or deleted, right? Which is very interesting, right? Now, I also had time to read the exoneration of Bungo Taiga, which is a document I would like encourage people who are interested in this topic to read. It's a particular document that talks about Bungo Taiga and the stalkers and the ex-mods who harassed him, essentially going after him, commissioning very inappropriate artwork, and all of that jazz. Now, one thing that comes up during this, and one of the reasons why this big controversy comes up, and I think one of the reasons why Nux got in trouble and then Marina made comments, is there is this talk about this commission. And even in the expose, which you get to the expose, right? At some point, Taiga did, and this is what it does say here, it privately commission certain content, right? Now, this content, I wouldn't say it's like neutral, blah, 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 right? It appears to be some sort of, lolly-ish content, right? Or Shota commission, right? Now, what they're saying is that this was probably legal where it was made or whatever, not a crime, but you can make up your own opinion on how you feel about that commission, which brought me over to thinking about, well, let's talk about this law in general, right? And what is legal and what is not legal, because most people don't understand, well, is a fictional depiction legal or not legal? Well, it depends where you live. And this is actually not just a country by country, but in the US, it's state by state. So if you look at this map, and real quick, purple is the countries where all forms of pornography are banned. So in purple countries, you can't have any pornography. Now, let me be very clear about this. First of all, I live in Thailand right now. So see, Thailand's a purple country. Yes, there's absolutely no pornography in Thailand, right? Right? Same thing with Korea. I don't know how Korea wins. Like when you look at like most porn downloaded, Korea's like up there. Same with the Philippines, are like way up there. But both of them ban pornography. So note that even in these countries where they supposedly quote unquote ban pornography, right? It's quote unquote banned. Sometimes the enforcement of the law is not the same as the law on the books, right? So what's enforced versus what's not enforced is a different question, right? So that's a big thing right there. And then you've got purple states. So that's purple. Purple is all porn is technically illegal, right? Everything. Blue is interesting, including Canada. Blue says that the depiction, it doesn't matter if it is a fictional or real depiction. So for example, Shadman, what Shadman did was he did a real depiction of a person, right? That's something that in other jurisdictions, the light blue jurisdictions, is distinct, like Germany, Finland, other places around the world, Brazil. In fact, Brazil has some pretty specific law on this, which says, I looked up a Brazilian case on this, which says, nope, if it's a fictional character, we don't care. It's not qualified as pornography. It's something different. It's art, whatever. It's exempted, right? So fictional characters being okay. Now I'm going to put a little asterisk on the US. I know the US is light blue, but let's put a little asterisk there, okay, for a second, because we'll talk about the US in a second, right? So in these countries, if it's a real person, it's not okay, right? So what Shabman did, regardless, would be illegal in either the dark blue or light blue country, because it is a real person, right? Yeah, but in the dark blue countries, even if it's a fictional character that is supposed to be under the age of whatever the age of consent is, it's not okay. So for example, I believe in Canada, the age of consent is 16. So if it's like a 14-year-old or 15-year-old or 13-year-old or whatever, that would be not okay. Same with Australia and New Zealand, right? South Africa, Britain, UK, right? A lot of other countries follow those rules. Argentina, right? Mexico, versus the other places. Now, for the Americas, let me talk about the US real quick. US, we follow the Miller test. Now, this is a very important test, right? And this is something that you guys should learn. And you guys might know some quotes about that. Like, for example, what is, obscenity? I'll know it when I see it, right? You guys have probably heard that. Well, we have a legal standard. It's beyond just I know it when I see it. The legal standard is actually a three-pronged test. The law has a real hard-on for three-part tests. They love three-part tests. So the three prongs of the test, I found a little thing here. This is from the Free Speech Center, so credit to them. This was a challenge in 1973 named after the court decision Miller versus California. So in this case, oh, by the way, in this case, Marvin Miller mailed 5 unsolicited brochures to the manager of a restaurant and his mother containing explicit pictures and drawings of men and women engaged in a variety of sexual acts. Mr. Miller was prosecuted for violating a California law that made it a misdemeanor to knowingly distribute obscene material. So the question was a bunch of men and women fucking, was that, and pictures of that, was that obscenity? So Chief Justice Berger, and that's his real name, Berger. I mean, that is the most American judge name out there, is Berger, right? He said this is the standard. The standard is, number one, whether the average person applying the contemporary community standards would find the work taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest. Here is where I put the asterisk on America. Because the community standards are different. And someone mentioned Utah earlier. In Utah, in Mormon country, they might have a different community standard than somewhere else. So that is a very subjective standard. This is not objective. The only objective part is kind of the reasonable person, so the average person, but the community is going to vary. And then number two, whether the work depicts or describes in a patently offensive way sexual conduct specifically defined by state law. Another thing, so if state law doesn't describe what's there as sexual, and it doesn't, though there's not a relevant state law, then it wouldn't apply. So if your state doesn't regulate this or doesn't care about this, then, well, it's not something that's punishable. So it's kind of logical. Your state has to have some sort of punishment or have to say, this is obscene, we find this obscene, and we have a law on the books that could convict somebody of this in your particular state. And then the third one, and this is very important, whether the work taken as a whole lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. So the biggest one to me here, I mean, literary is arguable, but is artistic. What is artistic, right? What is artistic? We can argue that all day and all night, right? So I can argue that art that is like lewd or nude or whatever else is artistic because, well, it's art, right? And art historically for the longest time has had a tradition of drawing nude figures. In fact, it's kind of a trope, right? Of just drawing someone in the nude for art, right? Going back to the ancient Greeks, Romans, etc., right? Back to Africa, a lot of different cultures have just had the naked Venus, the statue of Venus, everything else. It's been an artistic thing for a long time. So whether or not it crosses that threshold is something a good lawyer could argue, could say it's one way or another, which is why the US is such a clusterfuck, which is why I cannot say with any certainty in the US and why I'm so careful. It's like, well, that may or may not be okay. Right? Depends on your state, depends on where you're at, depends on what's going on. I mean, if you're in San Francisco, at this point, I don't see why anything is obscenity in a place like San Francisco. But like I said, you go to somewhere like the middle of nowhere in Utah, and maybe you've got a different standard, right? So that's just a very good test on this little education here with this. Now, one of the most famous cases internationally outside the United States is actually involving, well, I found a picture here. This is not CSM or anything like that, but this is just, you got the Simpsons, right? Found some adult Simpsons. This is a DeviantArt. Who did this one? Miss Futurama 2012, whatever, right? Somebody did this art of like the adult Simpsons, right? The Simpsons is actually one of the most litigated topics internationally, all around the world. Why is that? Because the Simpsons are popular everywhere. The Germans fucking love the Simpsons. They love the Simpsons. I mean, to a weird degree almost. So you can go anywhere and find people that'll know the Simpsons. They grew up the Simpsons. I grew up on the Simpsons. I watched Simpsons with my dad, with my mom, with my brothers. We watched the Simpsons very often. Now, we watched it way back in the day when I was a kid, right? I haven't watched it in years. I know it's still technically running, right? But that said, different countries have ruled differently about The Simpsons. So some countries have said that if you depict, because there were adult depictions and there were child depictions of them, but there were depictions of, let's say, the characters from The Simpsons in the nude, right? And they were depicting The Simpsons in the nude. And when that happened in Australia, they clearly said that The Simpsons, that nudes of the Simpsons characters are illegal. You cannot do that because the characters are under the age of 18, right? So that's illegal. You go to jail in Australia for that, right? However, same thing in Germany, not a problem. In the US, it's complicated because there was actually another case involving the Simpsons, and they did not take it to trial. They did a plea deal and they changed the charge that he was charged with to something else, to a lesser crime. So it's like, are you actually guilty of it or not? I don't know. It's not clear, right? It isn't very clear. And so whether or not you're in trouble in the US, it could go one way or another, right? Which is very, very interesting. And that's what makes The Simpsons such an interesting case for this. Now, I get to that because, of course, we're wrapping this against Mungo Taiga and some stuff that was commissioned way back in the day. But that said, largely, going back to Tiga, Tiga was exonerated, particularly of many of the accusations that were there, and specifically of the accusations that people levied and said for one reason or another, especially calling them a PDF and everything else. Of course, the two main people that are brought up here are, of course, Marina VT, who has not blocked me yet, but probably will block me after this. I guarantee you they'll block me. I mean, I saw them, and they have a picture of like Trans Disneyland, so I'm pretty sure they're going to block me. I mean, I'm pretty much, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, they actually posted like this long thread. This is back in 2002 about why Taiga needs to be canceled, and went into all this kind of detail trying to cancel Taiga here for racism. And you can see the word right here. So this person did a lot of that, obviously reprehensible, potentially defamatory, right? Based on saying things that are inaccurate. You can't call somebody a PDF unless they're actually a PDF. And then the second person is Nux, right? So, and I had an opportunity to DM Nux, and of course he gave me his side of the story here. But let me just present Taiga's kind of take on this. So Taiga said, people like Nux will never speak up because he's a fucking coward. He knows he fucked up, and he knows putting any more of the spotlight will be bad on business. I thought you cared about the truth, bro. I thought you stood up for small creators. Now, from what I talked to Nux about, In Nux's opinion, he's apologized because he privately apologized to him and pinned a post on his page saying, hey, I apologize, I fucked up. Because to be clear, on a stream with Moist Critical, he said that Taiga was a PDF, which was incorrect. And he said it was an incorrect. He said it was an L. He also went on the Some Ordinary Gamers podcast and said he took an L on that and kind of apologized on that. Not on his own channel, on somebody else's channel, which is the criticism that Taiga gave. Taiga gave the criticism, dual criticism, that Nux didn't apologize on his own YouTube channel, that he didn't do a video specifically apologizing, and he didn't have Moist Critical back on to tell him, hey, this is incorrect. As well as saying that the number of likes that the pin post got wasn't the same as the amount of viewers that viewed the video that he was slandered in, essentially. So you can take that one way or another, whether you think Nux's apology is good enough or not. I have a mixed bag on that, insofar as I believe that, look, people fuck up and make mistakes, and you should be able to apologize for your mistakes if you fuck up, and you should be able to say, hey, I fucked up. I think it's really dumb to call people criminals, and I've said it multiple times on this. You should never call somebody something that they're not, right? He's apologized for that. He said to me he apologized for that, but it seems like Taiga doesn't accept that apology, right? So whether or not there's more that's merited, I'll leave that up to you. You guys can be your own judge, right? And I'll even, what I'll do? I'll put up a poll in the chat what you guys think. Like, did Nux apologize enough, right? Just put a yes or no, right? So let's put a yes or no. Whether you think like a pin post and mentioning it on another podcast is enough and privately is enough or not. I'll leave you guys to decide on that. Be your own judge on that. But at this point, we've got some good and some bad news. Some good news on this, and I will get to all your comments in a second, but the good news is that this guy, Vintage Bass Archive, who is over here, who is at Femboy Archive YT, a weird stalker of Taiga, appears to have been, so they put here, that they reported them. I felt like my reports were valid, right? If Taiga doesn't make money on lewd clickbait, maybe Taiga will finally upload gameplay. So trying to force them to upload gameplay and make the content they want, really fucking weird, right? But of course, this person, Vintage Bass Archive, as you can see here, has been getting banned off of X. So they got this other account, Vintage Fender here. This one got banned off of X. So there's people that are harassing Taiga that are getting banned right now, which appears a certain amount of justice there. But in the ultimate case, the ultimate conclusion here, it's the same as what I said the other day. What will help Taiga is social media campaigns and people getting out there and retweeting. And I will be retweeting after this. Actually, I'll do it right now. So you guys can see it live. We're gonna do it fucking live, right? Ooh, that's the wrong browser. I need to do it in a Chad browser, not. I try to do it in Brave, and Brave just does not like me, right? We're gonna tweet this live right now. So I'm gonna. Okay, at Team YouTube, right? We're gonna do this, right? We're gonna do it live. I can do it live. We've done this before. I'm not going to DSP this, guys. Trust me. At Team YouTube, please review the suspension of Bungo Taiga's, actually, just put Taiga's channel. It is absolutely the result of a mass flagging campaign by some, let's say, by malicious individuals with bad intentions. Deserves to be restored, right? Boom. So I'll tweet that out right now. If you guys can go ahead and retweet that, and if you want to tag anybody in there or tag anybody else there, get that there, tag it in there. Make sure you like the comment, like the post, tag it on there, repost this. That'll help. This is what helps, guys, is actually tagging Team YouTube. They actually do stuff, right? This actually helps. This is the only thing that helps. And it's sad. It's fucking sad that that's the only thing that helps. You can call lawyers, you can do everything else, but a lot of times that shit does not help. So it's just retweeting it and getting their attention on it. Literally, that's what does it. So, and it's sad, but I'm just, look, as a lawyer, I tell you when the law is efficient and when the non-law is efficient. And that's why I'm a business lawyer. We're in the business. My clients, people I work with, and even people I work with on stuff like immigration, setting up companies, doing contracts, they want to get fucking results. They don't care about, oh, let's go sue, or we need to go to court, or we need to be on TV. They don't give a shit about any of that. They want to make money. They want to get their businesses up and running. And Taiga is a VTuber, and VTuber's business is being on social media, is being on YouTube, is being on X, is being on Twitch. So the only thing you can do is to get them back on that by pressuring those people in social media. So go ahead, retweet that, tag them, get them back up. That's the only way to do it. Let me get all these comments here, unless I'm going to read all of them. Muzzy with 10 legal mindset memberships. What's going on?
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Missed you, Muzzy. I haven't seen you in a little bit. I think you've been lurking. But I appreciate you, Muzzy. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the other gifters today. King Lugia, Herzog Karl von Österreich. Appreciate all of you. Speaking of which, Herzog Karl said, Grüß Gott, Mr. Mindset. How are you? I'm having viel Spaß here with you guys today, and I am sehr, sehr gut. I'm doing very good. I'm actually in a really good mood. I'm really happy to be here streaming again. I feel guilty. I feel this deep displeasure, this darkness when I don't stream. It's like not working out if you're used to working out, or not doing something you need to do, eating right or whatever else it is. You feel the guilt. You're like, I shouldn't be doing this, right? Or I should be doing this rather. And I'm like, I should be streaming, right? So even one day when I can't stream, when I should be streaming, I feel bad about it. I feel really bad about it. It's different if I plan to take the day off, which I do, because I need a break, and that's what everybody needs to stay successful in the long run. But yeah, when you want to stream and you don't, it feels weird. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back. YouTube demonetization compensation fund. Yeah, they're not going to like that I talked about this. And the funny thing is, what did I say? Oh, you guys were here for me talking about the Miller test, me talking about the definition of what is CSM or pornography, which, by the way, goes to the lolly debate, right? Because people say, well, what side of the lolly debate are you on? Here's my side. Is it legal? Is it legal? If it's legal, then then just block or mute the accounts if you don't like it. And I'm tired of these people bitching and moaning on social media about stuff that they can just block and not look at. If it's illegal, report it to the police. Report it to law enforcement. You're not law enforcement. You're not out here to be the nanny state. We've got enough problems with the fucking UK, which we're about to talk about in a second. We've got enough problems with the government being all up our ass, right? We've got enough problems with that. If it's actually illegal, let the government take care for it. Let law enforcement take care of it, right? Otherwise, shut the fuck up, right? Just don't look at it. It's not content for you. Block it. It's most of the internet. Why are you going out of your way to find stuff and create a problem? That's my issue with that, especially if it's not illegal where it's made or where it's being consumed or whatever else, right? Now, there may be things that are going to be filtered based on region. That's fine, right? It's just like if a lot of pornographic websites are filtered in certain countries. You cannot visit Pornhub in Saudi Arabia, right? That's not going to work out for you well. The Islamic Republic of Iran, right? Not going to work very well for you. That's just normal, right? That's just normal. If it's legal, it's legal. Speaking of legal, we got another one from Herzog Karl von Österreich, Chechen, and then we got 50 from Masrova Palma. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Mazrova Palma coming through big. Listen, guys, M's in the chat. I want to see some M's in the chat from Mazrova Palma. Big gifts like that are why you guys are able to join my streams, join my member-only streams. Please give some love to these people. We could drop some M's in the chat from Mazrova Palma, because that is exactly why you guys are able to attend those streams, have those extra content, have that bonus content. It's because of really generous people like Mazrova Palma. It also helps my channel a lot, helps me make extra emojis. Use that eagle emoji, because Eagle, my clipper, will be clipping the shit out of this one. Good luck on this one, Eagle. By the way, Eagle, I don't know how you're gonna censor this one, but we're gonna work on it, right? We're gonna work on it, buddy. But yes, look at all those M's in the chat from Mazrova Palma. Absolutely great. And JP Ravenfire, thanks for your gifts the other day too. I remember you. Senpai remembers. Senpai remembers. What a chat. We got the Eagles 2 here for my boy Eagle, who's going to be working hard on this one. Okay, let's get the rest of these super chats. Sigrun says some people have been taken to reporting Lolly stuff to FBI, and the FBI has actually put out a statement that Lolly is completely illegal and takes away from resources used to go actual bads, but that doesn't stop antis. Yes, because the antis are retarded. And if the FBI has told you it's not illegal, then guess what? It might not be illegal. You know? It might not be illegal. If the FBI has told you it's not illegal, then maybe you should stop reporting people for it. Just saying. Saying. King Conda for 10 says, unfortunately for Nux, to most people, no amount of apology will be enough. Now, this is what Nux has said. And I am a little bit, so I'm sympathetic to Nux in the sense that once you apologize, okay then, right? And look, there might be an argument, and let's see how many people said in the chat right now. So right now, 81% said that Nux's apology isn't enough. 20% says it is, right? So 80% of you think that he needs to apologize a little more. And maybe he just needs to do a video on his channel of like, hey, look, addressing this, just putting this to bed. Here's an official apology on my channel. That's it. Now, after that, in my opinion, if he did that, like came out with a standalone video, then I don't think at that point, what else is he going to do? I don't think you can force Moist Critical to come back on and be like, Moist Critical, I have to get you on specifically for an apology episode. That's a little much, right? Because I mean, once again, how often are creators going to come in and collab, and they're not going to usually come in and collab just for an apology video? That's usually pretty difficult to get to happen. I say that as a creator who collaborates with a lot of other creators. That'd be really weird. Like if I was on with Geeks and Gamers or whoever else, Midnight's Edge, I wouldn't call them back just because like, oh, you were on my stream and I said something stupid. If I said something stupid, I would apologize alone on my stream, and I would issue a redaction or a correction or whatever else on my stream alone because I fucked up. They didn't fuck up. He was just the person that was listening. He was the person that was explained to. So I think if he did it on his own channel, I think that'd be enough, in my opinion. Now, some other people may not agree with that. Some people may think it's more. That's your right to think that more is needed or whatever else is needed. That's your right. Thanks for the dollar, the euro. One, appreciate it. Appreciate it. €1 right there. Lord Mollington, what's up, brother? Hello. You got a license to be talking about the UK, mate? Oi. We're going to be talking about the UK in a second. We're going to be going into that. I've got the meme pulled up here. And I'm going to read this meme. This is fucking great. That's fucking great. They're going to arrest me. See, Lord Mollington, I'm going to dare them to arrest me for my shit streaming right now. It's going to be great. Please start an international incident trying to deport an American from Asia over memes. Please. You know how big that will be? You know how much attention that will get? Please try. By the way, it's not going to happen. I'm going to explain to you why. Kier Topaz and Ian VTuber says, this is a legal spicy comment approved by YouTube. My search history is most people's aren't. My search history is certainly not YouTube approved. I'll tell you that right now. Repton says it's called hentai, not art. But is hentai art? I would agree. I would make the argument that hentai can be art. What's the substantive difference between that and like hentai and art? Like just so you have a nude female, right? Or whatever, a nude character. Let's say they're over the age of 18. So let's take that out of the equation. They're over the age of 18, they're nude. And they're just standing alone. It's just a picture of a nude person. That's not necessarily dirty or whatever else. But then you throw a tentacle in there, right? Well, I mean, a tentacle is still art. It's still an artistic depiction. I mean, have you guys seen The Fisherman's Wife in Japan? I mean, like, is this hentai? Right? Can I show this? Can I show this? Hold on. Where's Mr. Octopus here? Where's Mr. Octopus? Mr. Happy Octopus here. Okay. The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife. Right? If you guys haven't seen this one right now, I mean, is this hentai? Are we talking about hentai right here? Or is it art? I mean, it's been ruled as art. I mean, people would constitute this art. I'm not going to get in trouble with this, guys. It's art, right? It's a classic. But, you know, in other words, it might be hentai. Who knows? Or is it both? Who knows? Knight for 500 yen says, tell me one single thing that's not illegal in Australia. That's fact. It's not legal to die in Australia. You are allowed to die. Of the many creatures killing you, whether it's the blue ring octopus, the spiders, or the drop bears, something killing you is legal in Australia, but you can't kill them. And certainly not an emu. How dare you? They fought 2 valiant wars and they won. Those emus prevailed. Jacob Anderson, can love for The Simpsons be named Yellow Fever? Okay. Wundertot for €2 says, I hope YouTube changes their ban first, ask never. Yeah, that's bullshit. They should at least give you a chance to explain yourself. Like, hey, what's going on here? Like, can I get somebody to ask me before you totally demonetize my channel? They demonetized my second channel over me posting one short, which I edited a little bit, but apparently not enough. And they don't tell me which one it is. I have to fucking guess. YouTube is dicks about that. They're assholes about that. You either have an in with YouTube like Mr. Beast, or you get screwed. It's true. It's true. Almost got banned from Discord because being a lolicon. Well, Discord, of course, you got the private communities. The Discord private communities can ban you, but of course, Discord is, its own platform, and they can make up their own rules. Now, whether or not these platforms are going more restrictive or not, that's on a case-by-case basis. But I would say Discord tends to be on the more banny side, right? LCPL Anime says, these people don't understand that it's history or culture makes the age of marriage law at puberty, yet they won't admit it and just whine about JP. Yeah, and also Japan, the whole 13 is legal in Japan. That's been debunked. Pretty much every prefecture, just because the national law may be low, every prefecture has effectively upped it to 18. So that's kind of not as much of a thing anymore in Japan either. Doug Diaz for 5. Thank you so much. And then Jackson for 5. Both Douglas Diaz and Jackson calling up and joining the...
Hello, Beso Department.
Thank you, Jackson and Doug Diaz. Thank you. Also, Jacob, a new member. Welcome, Jacob. Appreciate you as a new member. Let me make sure. Was that a new membership? Yes, it's a new membership to the RPG level. Thank you. Thank you. Agamana says FBI needs to start charging and finding people for filing bogus reports. Yes, they need to be wasting resources to pay the cost. I think they should prosecute people at a certain point for filing. If they file repeated false reports, I think at a certain point they should get a warning and then they should get punished, right? If they're constantly giving these false reports, because that's a huge problem. Functional Tigaholic fan channel, Taiga fan channel. There's Nuck Defame Taiga again, and it's on my channel. Oh, cool. Well, there you go. You can check it out on your channel, Functional Tigaholics channel. Liberty Hall's Cat says, have you gone an oi emoji yet? We might need one after today. I'm going to go pretty hard on this. We're going to talk about the law of extradition, which is going to be interesting. Is Boko no Pico art? No, we're not talking about Boko no Pico. Boko no Pico is a whole separate, that's a whole separate thing, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Boko no Pico, not today, my friends. One Dickhead with 10. Thank you so much, One Dickhead. Appreciate you very, very much.
Emotional damage.
This is me after I receive all these memberships and love. I don't know how to react. Thank you so much, the One Dickhead. Appreciate you. Mind you, One Dickhead, very much permitted here, but might be illegal in Australia. Emperor Creatine says, RIP Mama Susan. Oh, yes. Susan is now having those tough conversations in the afterlife. Said, who decided the 2015 terrorist attacks were so important? She needed to change the entire algorithm to promote mainstream news and begin the multiple adpocalypses. Hey, Elon. Yeah. Susan absolutely changed YouTube for the worse. Unarguably. Change it for the worse. Sigrun says the people who call Japan a bunch of PDFs for having a national but effective AOC of 13 are the same people who don't believe in states' rights. Exactly. And then LSP also goes on for another 5. It says, people think the shift from East won't affect us yet. Look what happens in World War II. We try to keep ourselves. The East comes for us every time. Yeah, I mean, if you try to ignore a problem, it's just going to grow, right? It's like having a dirty room. It's just going to get dirtier. So if you have a problem and you don't address it, it's going to become a worse problem. Romulo Henrique Lemes Ferraria says for 20 R Real, is that Real? Says the apology is not enough because it doesn't undo the harm caused by defamation. In this instance, won't reach the same audience as the original video. One video making a statement should be the bare minimum. Okay, so I think we can agree there. At least like maybe one making a video would in the minds of at least most be a minimum. Probably not perfect, but once again, what's perfect? I'm very sympathetic to the argument of people who apologize. I think people should be encouraged to apologize. So one of my things in general, forget about Nux, right? We need to get into a culture where people are okay saying, I fucked up. Because in the content creator world, in the current meta, no one wants to say they fucked up. Hey, guess what? I've fucked up multiple times. I've said shit that's inaccurate. I've allowed people to behave on my streams in ways in which I should have not allowed them to. I should have said, you know what? You shouldn't act like that. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do that. I've done that. I fucked up. I made mistakes. Sure. Right. But that said, people feel like they need to be flawless. They need to say they've never made any mistakes. They've never said anything wrong. Right. Oh my God. For example, like, oh my God, I've forgotten about a law out there that I overlooked. I didn't issue spot 100% of the particular laws that might apply to a given factual situation. Oh my God, right? You should be able to say, look, we're not perfect. We do the best we can. We try to be as entertaining and educational as we can, particularly in the legal sphere, but we make mistakes, right? But if everybody gets jumped every time they make a mistake and apologize, then nobody's going to apologize. They're going to keep trying to be like, oh, I never made a mistake. And they're going to just gaslight the shit out of everybody, which is, I think, objectively worse. So there needs to be some sort of line where there's like, okay, you've apologized enough. Now, there's something as like a non-apology, like a not real apology. And I agree that if you give some bullshit corporate statement or some bullshit non-apology, that doesn't work. Like right now, for example, with the Mr. Beast situation, Mr. Beast hasn't really apologized for anything or admitted any wrongdoing at all. So there's really no quote unquote apology there yet. So yeah, that's where I'm at on this. All right. So let's get in the UK, mate. Hey? Let's go to the UK. Bloody wankus. I don't even know. I'm going to confuse my UK accent is going to tie in with Australia because there's a lot more Australians here than anywhere else. Also, by the way, what's up to everybody on locals? Appreciate all you over there. Veggie Han and Veggie Han, 3 beers, Danielle. I see you guys over there on locals. So I appreciate you guys over there. Hanging out there on the locals. Let's see. Also make sure I got all the chats. Okay, yeah, caught up on the super chats. So, what's going on in the UK? Do I show that now? Chat. Do I show the video first or do I show the meme first? Video first or meme first? Which one? I'll let you guys vote. Do you want the meme first or the video? I'm going to show the meme I posted on my account because it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. In the chat, meme or video? Mollington says meme. Repton says meme. Okay, one person says vid. Got 2 votes for vid, but like meme is just, the memes are flowing. The memes are flowing in the chat. Oh, you guys are here for the memes. Okay, all right. All right, we're gonna. I know you guys. You guys are just
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
All you want to do is laugh. You don't want to know the facts. You just want me to entertain you. You want me to dance around with a hat like a monkey. That's all you want from me. I know what you want. I know what you people want. And you know what? Frankly, it's
Disgusting.
okay. Okay, let's start with the meme. This is a good one from a good little one here. This is posted on my channel. Which is showing up. Got little George Washington here. Oi, are you the author of these posts? And just these posts are great. Live free or die. 6969 says the answer to 1984 is 1776. Come knock on this door, you limp-wristed commie whores. I've got 1911 reasons to fuck you up. Extradite D's nuts in your mouth, bitch. Normandy was a mistake. You traitorous ingrates. At least France put up a fight, bro. And then I ate pork last night, aka your mom, Sharia Ginger. You got the UK police showing up in the US, and of course, with predictable results from George Washington, ripping it out here. And let's say the Star Spangled Banner ain't putting up with that one right there. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble with the meme police here on that one. Gonna get in trouble with the meme police, bruh. So that comes from the English police literally saying they're going to go abroad and they're going to find people shit posting online. Here's a video, one of the videos from the Met police chief here over there in jolly old London. Let's hear what he has to say.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
From further afield online, meaning even if you're out of the country, they are going to come after you.
Talk to me about that, because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved. What are you considering when it comes to...
So she literally name drops Elon Musk and is kind of implying that they could bring Elon Musk to the UK to face prosecution. By the way, we have 1337 people in the chat, which is absolutely based. And for those, all your base are belong to us, you know, just to say 1337, we're doing pretty good. Let's continue.
To dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behavior from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country?
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material. All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we will come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
So that's them directly saying, and in a way threatening Elon Musk even, and saying, hey, we're going to come after you. And he did not limit that to citizens of the UK. And nowhere in that statement did he say, well, obviously this only applies. He didn't say, well, this is only applies to people who are British citizens, right? UK citizens. He didn't say that. He didn't make that statement. Now we're going to talk about extradition law, because this has been something that's come up a lot. In fact, it came up when we were covering Niji Sanji, right? When we were covering Niji Sanji, a lot of people were talking about, oh my God, can Niji Sanji extradite people to Japan, right? We are going to talk about this in detail, because I haven't actually gone into the law on this, on extradition and what goes on there, what is at play. Now that said, I'm not a lawyer in every single country in the United States, in the world, right? Sorry, pause. I'm a United States lawyer. I'm not a lawyer for every country, right? So I'm really speaking from a US basis, but there's a plain reading of this international law. You can read it. There's treaties on this. But if you look at whatever your country is, whatever your country, has on the books, that's going to be what applies to you. Also the country where you're at right now. So if you are somebody who's an expat like me, for me, the law of Japan might be relevant, or the law of Thailand or South Korea or the Philippines, right? Where I'm at, saying, okay, is Thailand or Japan or South Korea or the Philippines, are they going to extradite me because I did XYZ? And if they did, where would they have a duty to extradite me to? Would they have a duty to extradite me to the UK or to the US? Because I'm a US citizen, right? So these are all very, very important questions, and ones that need to be answered. Now, before I do that, we've got 7 super chats. So let me answer these quickly before we get to the law here. Jamie said, Nux will apologize on any platform except the one he made the allegations. Kick was a fraction of his viewers. The podcast wasn't his views. That's true. Kick is a fraction of viewers. Spooky Trooper said the perfect victim fallacy has applied to a lot of bad people to get away with horrendous crimes. That's also true. Repton says, we just want to dunk on the UK because their law is a... Play the clip. The law is a...
monkey.
That's absolutely true. Dragon's Treasure, what's up, brother? Says, if you need any tea to throw in the harbor, head over to Dragon's Treasure. Use code MINDSET to get all of the tea you need. Guys, if you need a reminder of that, because I'm happy to remind you, you can go to the code, Dragon's Treasure Tea, code MINDSET. There, it's on the banner. Put it right there. And check out Dragon Church. He's absolutely base guy. He's come out and he's come out swinging. He tried to be neutral, but he's coming out as an absolute chat on these issues. Great follow on Twitter. Good guy. Shout out to Dragon's Treasure. Zyfax says, the issue with apologies isn't the apology. It's often done after ignoring the problem, hoping it will go away, and only apologizing after it's too big to ignore, becoming sorry I got caught. Yep. Most people aren't really sorry. They are only sorry they got caught. I talk about that in a lot of instances. Hell, I talk about that with, for example, the Ricada issue, where at this point it seems like he's only sorry he got caught. He's not actually sorry for anything he did. Zach Updegraph says, I need that comic freedom. It's worth the super 199. Shout out to the 199. Appreciate that. And I agree. I think comics should be free and artists should be free to make the comics they want to make. And if they want to make a graphic comic, a comic like, for example, the original Boys was very graphic, right? You can see that obviously Hollywood can't remake the Boys in the same way as the comic because everybody's a bunch of pussies nowadays, and they don't want to push things to the extent of the law. They want to censor it for modern sensibilities. I don't give much of a shit about that. I think you should make the work you want to make as long as it's legal. I-101 says, will they target overseas terrorist organizations? That's the thing, right? I mean, they should spend those resources going after ISIS or going after, all sorts of other bad actors that have deep cells in Europe. That's one of the concerning things about going to Europe is I know they don't take this shit seriously. They really don't. And they allow these cells to operate pretty widely with pretty wide latitude over there in jolly old Europe. Cold Acid said, Your Majesty, another tea chest has hit the harbor. Hold on, I'll do this. Your Majesty, another tea chest has hit the harbor. There we go. Thank you for that Canadian 5. Right. I appreciate when there's some Canadian solidarity with our concepts of liberty. So let's start out with what is extradition. Let's talk about the law. And this is a good educational piece on it. Extradition is a formal process. Sorry, I think I shared the wrong screen here. Let me share this correct screen. Wow, it's got to be a window, huh? Okay, I'll do this way. All right, here's a window. All right, so extradition is a formal process whereby the state requests from another state the return of a person accused of or convicted of a crime to stand trial and serve sentence in the requesting state. Let me make something very clear. And Lord Mollington, I'm so sorry, man. I'm gonna have to have you on to give me a proper English accent at some point. But that said, this is a big misnomer. For example, a lot of people talk about, oh, you're going to be extradited for financial, for like, let's say you owe somebody on a lease. Let's say you had to pay somebody rent and you didn't pay them the rent and you just left and you went to Costa Rica or Panama or Paraguay or the Philippines, right? Wherever you are in the world, right? You went to Brazil. Not paying somebody rent is not a crime, right? That's not a crime. That may be something they can come after you in civil court for, but it's not a crime. So there's no extradition for that sort of thing. You can't extradite people over that. So let's say you like owe somebody $100. They're not going to extradite you over that. You're not on the run from anything with financial responsibility. So if it's a civil thing, that's not something they're going to be able to come after you for. So for example, we talked about in the Doki Bird situation, are they going to be able to extradite Doki? Well, all they would have against her is you owe us money. Well, that is not extraditable. You cannot extradite somebody over a civil matter, what we call a civil matter in the US. So you owe me money matter. That's not going to be extraditable. Generally, the type of people that are extradited do really extreme things. Let's look at some people who were extradited, right? Let's go look at some examples of people who were extradited. Now, some of these are very serious white-collar crimes, but they're not petty, like, for example, like petty debts, for example. So, or right here, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, right? Julian Assange, right? Obviously, he eventually got relieved of this, right? But he was one that was fighting extradition, right? Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou, right? He was held in Canada for 3 years as the U.S. sought extradition on charges of helping the U.S. telecom giant evade sanctions against Iran, right? So that's pretty serious. El Chapo Guzman, right? El Chapo Guzman was extradited on a number of federal charges, including escaping from a maximum security prison using a fucking tunnel, which is pretty crazy, right? He was sentenced to life in prison, right? For a number of things. But yeah, El Chapo. And then Carlos Ghosn, who literally fled Japan and was back in Lebanon, which has no extradition treaty with Japan. So there's no way to get him out of Japan or out of Lebanon to Japan. This is very, very, very important. Oh, sorry. She for Wang. Sorry about that. She for Wang. Yes, yes, yes. Pronoun squad. I got you. I got you, people. I got you. Right. I got you. Okay. I've got you. Hold on. I'll do my apology. Oh, no, sorry. There you go. I am very, very sorry for misgender honorable Chinese woman. I'm very, very sorry. I deeply apologize for my shameful behavior. Sumimasen. Is that a good enough apology? Did that apology work? Did that work for you guys? Was that good? Was that good for you? It's good for me. It's good for me. So when did Riku get here? Shameful display. So those are cases where there were actual extraditions, right? Now, not every country has an extradition treaty. Some don't at all. So, for example, let's look at the US, right? There are a number of countries that do not have an extradition treaty with the US. You have to think, does your country have an extradition treaty with the country where you are currently? So if you're an American and you're in Russia, red means there's no treaty. Red means there's no treaty. Green means there is a treaty. Now, even if there is a treaty, we're going to get into this. They still may not deport you or extradite you. They still may not. So if you are in Russia, they have no treaty. They are not going to extradite you. If you're in China, they're not. Vietnam, they're not. Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, Madagascar, ironically, the Ukraine, right? If you're in any of those countries, you're not going to get extradited. There's no treaty. They can't extradite you, right? Let's look at the UK, because this is, they want to come after you in the UK, right? The UK wants to come after you. The UK has even less treaties, even less than the US. Even less. You're in Nicaragua, you're over there in the DR, right? You're in Dominican Republic, you're in Venezuela, you're in Suriname. You're in, once again, Indonesia, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Burma, Mongolia. Shit, you're in Dubai. Dubai has no treaty. There's no treaty with the UK. So you just go and chill in Dubai and they can't extradite you. Right? There's no treaty. So they're not going to extradite you over this. So once again, that's a full stop. So you have to ask yourself, are they in a country? Or are you in a country where there's no treaty? So in the case of like Ghosn, who fled Japan, Japan has a treaty with Lebanon. So they're fucked. They can't extradite. They're done. It's like, well, can't get him. Now, if he goes to a country, here's where people fuck up. They travel. And they travel to another country, and that country does have a treaty. So now that all the, with all the WEF stuff and the linking of global systems and all that good stuff, Interpol, all that good stuff. Let's say you were to connect or go through a European country. So let's say you were somebody who has, let's use the map again. Let's use the map again here. So where you said something naughty in the UK. Right? You said that, let's see, what did you guys say? You guys probably said something here. The UK has become you gay. So chaos smash. we've now said something that's going to get us arrested in the UK. We said the UK is you gay. So we've now slandered people based on sexual orientation. We're now all going to jail. This whole chat is going to jail. So if I was to go to, if I lived in Saudi Arabia, I lived in the line, which is not even constructed yet. But let's say I lived in the line in Saudi Arabia, lived in Riyadh. And I had a flight that was connecting through Istanbul, through Turkey, on the way to Algeria, right? I could get arrested in Turkey. And that's what often happens is people get picked up when they go through a country that has a treaty of extradition. So that can happen. Or they do a stop there. They take, oh, I'm going to spend a day in Constantinople because I'm here. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, I mean, Istanbul, whatever. Istanbul, you know. I'm going to say, it's a, you know, tour the ruins of Constantinople, right? Or the Hagia Sophia. So they get arrested there and they get sent to the UK because they went through a country that has an extradition treaty. Now, even if you do have a treaty, a lot of times they refuse to enforce it. And there's two main reasons why they do not, actually three really big ones, that they do not extradite people. And this is one that is going, I'm going to give you the first one, which is why no Americans will be deported for this. Here's why. You guys ready for this? It's the rule of dual criminality. Dual criminality. The alleged offense for which the extradition is being sought must, not maybe, not should, must be a criminal offense in both the requesting and requested state. So here's the problem. UK cucks. It's not a crime. It's not a crime to criticize the government in America. So suck on these 1776 nuts, okay? All right? Let's play the clip.
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
We've got freedom of speech. We've got an actual constitution that we believe in, right? We got real rights. It's not a crime. Unless you can prove that's a crime in the US, which slandering the monarchy or the government in the UK, whatever the fuck else it is, or inciting, whatever you want to say, oh, inciting violence on the internet, right? That's not going to be really a thing, right? Against the UK, right? That's not going to be a thing to the same degree it is in the UK, in the laws they have, which essentially say, and I don't have the law pulled up right now, but there's a law in the UK that essentially says if you offend somebody and offend their sensibilities, that's an offense. That's an offense. It's a criminal offense, right? Like if you offend them, if what you say online offends somebody, it's insensitive. It's not illegal to be insensitive in the USA. So that's not going to work, motherfuckers, right? So that's going to stop them. But we're not even done yet, baby. We're not even done. Because beyond that, we've got more. We've got the non-extradition of nationals. Yes, people say it here. Sorry, you guys got the Communications Act 2003. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys are so good on it. Communications Act. Thank you. That's the law. That's the law I'm thinking of. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you've got the non-extradition of nationals. So the most famous country that will do this is like Brazil. Brazil is never going to deport a Brazilian out of Brazil. Many other countries do this. So they say, look, if you're a national, if you are from this country, they're not going to export you. So an American in America is not going to be extradited from America. Most countries don't do this and would not do this. You know why? It looks really bad and it makes your citizens really uncomfortable if you are sending your own citizens to a foreign country to be prosecuted. You know how that seems? That seems like a kangaroo court. It also violates a lot of rights. Like that literally violates your due process rights in America. To send you to another country, which doesn't have the same due process as America, to prosecute you? No. I'm sorry, no. So that would violate that general principle of non-extradition of nationals. So let's say that person is an American. That's not going to work. Let's say they're a dual citizen. So they're a British-American dual citizen. They have dual citizenship. They're not going to extradite them if they're in America. It's just not going to happen. Or they're Canadian or whatever else. They're not going to extradite them. You're going to have to prosecute them in Canada or in Australia or whatever else. If they're a dual citizen, Hong Kong, whatever else, Singapore. And God only knows that a lot of people in the UK are dual citizens. Now, unfortunately, a lot of those dual citizens are probably the ones that are favored by the two-tier police system and not the ones that are being targeted by it, unfortunately, right? But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Now, there's a third principle that comes to play here. But before I get to this exception, let me get to some of these super chats. Before I get this last one here. Azrael, as a new member, thank you. Welcome as a new member. Akai Tsutsuki says, use code PINGCAT at Dragon's Tree for an extra Shigvale. Oh, sorry. Shigvale says, if you don't own government money, you're fine. If you don't owe the government money, fine. Yeah, okay. So by the way, the IRS is a different thing because, by the way, not paying the IRS is a crime. That's the difference. See, not owing a regular person. So if you owe a company or regular person money, that's not a crime. If you owe the IRS money, that is a crime. There's a difference. You see the difference there, right? Not paying your taxes is a crime. That's a problem. Not paying somebody the $350 you owe them is not, right? David Archer for 5 says the U.S. wouldn't extradite a diplomat's wife to the U.K. for hitting a kid with her car. I don't think they're worried about your tweets. Exactly. And you know how expensive it is to process extradition? It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight that legal case. And you better believe that you're going to lawyer up and you're going to fight the shit out of that in the United States. And that's going to take years to process. Years to process. And by the way, it'd probably go all the way up. If this was actually something they were trying to do, it would go to the Supreme Court. You think Clarence Bass Thomas is going to allow that to slide? You're goddamn wrong on that one. The Supreme Court would absolutely blow this shit out of the water. Even kind of milquetoast Roberts would be like, yeah, we're going a little 1776 on this. Like, they're not going to allow that. They would make a clear ruling on that. By the way, that would be strictly within the jurisdiction of the federal courts, Supreme Court. So yeah, they would rule on that right away. Let's see. Ezreal also said, so happy to have a legal expert representing our niche. Here's a little something for you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that 10 euros. Yeah, I love the VTuber niche. I love that area. And I hope that you guys are learning something. I hope that I'm teaching you guys something. And I hope that, you leave these things a little wiser. And, this is not the end all be all of legal education. I'm not perfect. I'm not a lawyer in every country, but I hope that I get you interested in these topics so you're thinking more. And when people say these things, you think about them and you're like, wait a second, they're full of shit, right? These people don't know what they're talking about. Like, they're talking about extradition. They're dumb, right? They're talking about extradition. I mean, you gotta.
All right, explain this to me like I'm retarded.
That won't be that hard.
I'm just saying. Oliver Closeoff said Snowden did it right. See how far they went to catch him? Dude was smart. Also, shout out to our good friends, Law and Crime Network. God damn it. But yeah, Snowden's in Russia now. And I believe he's a Russian citizen. I believe he got permanent residency or Russian citizenship. So yeah, he's not coming back. Are all extradition treaties bilateral? Yes. Generally, they are bilateral treaties, except for, I believe, the EU, because they're the cluster circle jerk. I believe the EU has like a EU collective, like kumbaya sort of thing. But other than the EU, they're mostly bilateral. Zach Updegraff says, enjoy learning and entertaining at the same time. Base, thanks. You are welcome. You are welcome, Zach. Yomotomen said, does it differ by state for the crimes? And it could. So if it's not a federal crime, then they're going to have to prove it's a state crime. But I don't think they're going to. That's actually a really good question. I don't think if it's something that is such a niche crime that it's only a crime in like Iowa, it's like the law in Iowa says that on Sunday, you can't be doing anything other than reading your Bible while playing the banjo, right? Like if it's one of those type of laws, we call those sort of like old laws, or, we call them like almost the blue laws, the old alcohol laws, for example, the outdated laws, like it's illegal to ride a chicken, right? That sort of law, they're not extraditing you for that, right? Even if it is criminal, right? I'm just saying it's not right what they do to those chickens. I've seen what they do to after you ride a chicken. I mean, it is just a whole cluster cluck after you ride that chicken. I mean, no, they're not going for like random state crimes. That's not going to work. Usually, guys, this stuff is like murder, right? Like, did you murder somebody, right? Mean tweets is not the level of murder. I was reading some of the treaties for Asia over here, and I'm like, oh, let me just read the treaties for like Philippines, Thailand, South Korea. The most things they're going to extradite you for are if you're murdering somebody. Like, yeah, you need to be extradited for that, right? But, short of that. Also, Eagle, T-Bar Tiger Eagle. I guess I wanted Eagle to clip that. Eagle, clip the chicken thing. Clip the chicken thing, Eagle. I know you're listening to this. Clip it, motherfucker. That's a short. Frostbit says, I've called the UK police sheep fuckers and the like on Twitter for a decade. Yeah, and what are they going to do? They're going to do shit. They literally dared the internet to meme them. And I'm like, wow, don't mind if I do, sir. I mean, if you dare the internet to dunk on you, we're going to dunk on you. It's going to be great. Oi, governor, you got a license for that opinion? Thank you. Thank you for that, Spooky Trooper. Silbury says, people forgot nations and laws only exist because of violence. Supposedly NATO does something if you commit war crimes. Supposedly. Hashtag Geneva suggestions. Suggestions. Yes, tell that to like the kids being drone striked. Yes. Chaos Match says, I could listen to that southern accent. I could listen to that southern accent all day. Why, my, if I didn't have a glass of sweet tea and a Bojangles Bowberry biscuit, that would just make it all right. I do miss those Bowberry biscuits. Fuck, they're addicting. They're so fucking addicting and they're so unhealthy, but they're so goddamn good. I can't resist the Bowberry biscuit. To my southerners, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Bees in the chat for the Bowberry biscuit if you know about the Bowberry biscuit. Zyfax says, don't forget the massive campaign to force people to accept words are violence. Words are violence. I think this weak mindset of like, oh, words hurt people. I think we're getting a white pill is I think people are pushing back against this. People are saying this is ridiculous. This is not violence, right? This is just debate. This is discourse. We need to get back to it. Yes, you guys know the Bowberry biscuit. You guys know it. Just had one this morning. Oh, they have Bowberry cookies. It's the only reason why I come back. I need those. I need those in my life right now. God damn it. That and some Chick-fil-A. God damn. That Chick-fil-A. JP Ravenfriends, are you sure from Tennessee and not Georgia or Tennessee? Sure from Florida, not Georgia or Tennessee? I, for a while, lived in Western North Carolina. I actually lived in the town where they shot the last shot of the Civil War. Literally the Union was about to be like massacred in this little mountain town, and they had to call up a Confederate general. Was like, hey boys, the war ended like a month ago, and they're like, are you sure? Because we can kill these Yankees real quick. And they're like, no, like literally we should chill here. They're like, are you sure? Because they're asking for it, and they're like, no boys, like calm down. Like here's some, we signed this at Appomattox. Like let's go home now. But yeah, North Carolina, raise up, take your shirt off, maybe spin it around your head like a helicopter. That might be illegal in the UK, but PD Pablo disagrees. Emperor Creatine says, since the Geneva Conventions were mentioned, I find it hilarious that people accuse Mr. Beast of being a war criminal. Last time I checked, Ginny Donaldson is not a... Yeah, I know, he's not. But what they're saying, Emperor Creatine, is that he did something which is not allowed in war against enemy combatants. And if it's not allowed against enemy combatants, it's certainly not allowed against people. It's cruel and unusual punishment. It's certainly negligent, absolutely negligence, without a doubt. It's like per se negligent to do that, right? To sleep deprive someone is gross negligence. So yeah, that's bad, right? If something is a war crime, it's probably also gross negligence. All right, so let's get to the last thing here, which is the political offense exception. So this is another reason why this will never, ever, ever get you deported. And that is, there's a political offense exception. Let's zoom in here. Let me read this for you guys here. Most countries do not allow extradition for political crimes, which is known as the political offense exception. The political offense exception is a clause that limits a sovereign state's responsibilities under an extradition treaty. If the requesting party's authority determines that the requesting party seeks a citizen to prosecute a political offense, such provisions allow the requested party to refuse to hand over the subject or to collect evidence on behalf of another state. So this is now a standard provision in almost all extradition treaties around the world, and it's explicitly provided for in the domestic laws of most countries. Boom. So if you are trying to prosecute someone for what is a political crime, you're not going to be extradited. And this is a political crime. This is the quintessential political crime. This is a law which is essentially saying you cannot have this political opinion. If you have this political opinion, you will be punished. And you're going to try to take that into countries which have free speech or which don't outlaw that, which don't criminalize that, and make them export them? No way. It's a political offense. Even if they're British, even if they're in a country where you have an extradition treaty, right? So these are all things. Even if they're British in a country where they have an extradition treaty, even then, won't happen. Won't happen. Right? So all of these barriers mean this Metro police officer, this chief, doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. This is why the UK is a goddamn joke. And I don't mean this about the people, because, by the way, I love a lot of British people. British people are great. I hang out with a lot of really cool British expats that are awesome. I love them. But a lot of these expats, they got out for a reason, because they said the government is just fucking us and they're doing shit like this and it's ridiculous. Same thing with my brothers and Canadians. Same things with my Australian brothers and sisters, right? I'm simpatico with you. I understand that. I get it, and it's not you guys, because you guys are fucking awesome and you're some great clients. I help a lot of people come to Asia from these countries, from Britain, from the UK, from Australia, Canada, right? They don't like these policies either. They think they're ridiculous. They think it's insanity that people have lost their mind. But this is where the government is at nowadays. And that's just the fact, right? And I don't want to look, I hate when people get out there, all people are like this. No, this is the government, the current government, right? And I agree, the UK is throwing a worse tantrum than some of the worst authoritarian states. Yeah, they're worse than Saudi Arabia in many senses, right? Explain the Bowberry biscuit to me like a dumbass. Okay, let me just show you this. Okay. That's a copycat recipe. I want to know. I need the box. Yeah, there you go. There's the box. Okay. Now, this is not hentai. This is art. Right? You have a smooth, buttery southern biscuit, which is peppered with blueberries in and throughout, and then given a light drizzle, sweetness right on top. And then the most charming part is it's put in a styrofoam plastic box, because God knows the South does not give a goddamn about environmental protection. I don't care how many turtles choke on this. It does not matter. I will sacrifice all the turtles in the world for one of these biscuits right now. I would sacrifice all of this, right, for this. It is great. It is amazing. Hot, fresh, soft, blueberry, sweetness, southern. Should be illegal. But it's not. It's in fact not. In fact, I'm gonna drop the clip.
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Not the turtles. Save the turtles. Remember, it's never a war crime the first time. Yeah. You know what's funny too is like a lot of the war crimes were used by the countries that eventually said, you know what, we shouldn't be doing that. They said that after they were the first ones to do it, like biological warfare, chemical warfare, nuclear warfare, right? It's like, oh yeah, all the people that did that are the ones that are like, yeah, let's not do that. It's like, because you don't want it done to you. Because, now that you've done it, your enemies are going to develop that technology and they're going to do it to you. So let's call it off after you used it to win, right? You're winning right now. So now you're going to call it a war crime, right? Now that you've won. It's just a very convenient fact, right? But once again, history is written by the victors. And so what is a war crime? Simi Eclectic says, congrats, UK. You managed to fail on all 3 extradition standards. Yeah, no, they literally completely fail. There's no way they can extradite anybody for this. It's ridiculous. Except for maybe, I'll tell you the one place that I would be very worried, if you're within the EU. If you're within the EU, I would be worried about it, because the EU is a bunch, But I would be very, very worried about that. Taiga said Orwell's 1984 is liable. But by the way, even if you're within the EU, because of Brexit, you actually have a basis to fight back because of Brexit. So actually, thank you, Brexit. Taiga said Orwell's 1984 is alive and well. Oh, it's very much alive and well. Very much alive and well. And I'm here to call this shit out because a lot of people don't see it, but this is where it happens. And it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's death by the control of your language till we have to speak newspeak. This is getting us to speak newspeak because we can't say certain no words and we can't ask questions like, hey, does it challenge our national sovereignty when the demographic makeup of your country changes? Almost all countries in the world, except for the West, agree with that. If you went to Saudi Arabia or you went to Iran, or you went to Japan, or you went to Korea, they would tell you, yeah, or China, right? Russia, they would tell you, yeah, if we bring in like 90% of people or bring in a huge percent of people that are replacing our population and are being naturalized, meaning they're becoming citizens, they're voting, whatever, they're doing this. Can that cause problems if we're just doing that willy-nilly without any vetting, without any screening? No, and that's why if you look at naturalization or becoming a citizen, outside of the West, the process is actually fairly rigorous and very restrictive, right? Japan, for example, you know how many people become Japanese citizens every year? It's in the tens of thousands, and sometimes it's less, 6,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. It's not millions of people. It's a very, very, very small number. Compare that to the US. Let's look at how many people, actually, let's look at the UK. How many people naturalized into the UK every year? Let's see how many people were naturalized in the UK, right? Okay. There were 181,000 grants of British citizenship in the year ending in March 2023. Almost 200,000, right? Versus 10 or 8 or 6. Do you see the difference? See the difference? Citizenship should be something that is very restrictive. It should be very, very restricted, right? But 200K a year, that is, especially for a lot of countries, that is, and I know people are going to get triggered by this word, but that is like supplanting, or one might use the word replacing your population, right? There's no other word for it. I don't know how to explain that. Like your population is not that. What's the UK population, right? Right? 66 million. Adding 200,000, nearly 200,000 a year in a country of 66 million. Yeah, that's significant. That's significant. Just saying. Just saying. I said the bad thing. Guys. I'm going to be canceled now. Guys, please like the video. There's 1,300 of you here. For me saying the bad thing I shouldn't say, please like the video. It speaks volumes to two opposing social castes are protesting at the government at the same time and place and not each other. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Professor Keem said it's only a war crime if you lose. Exactly. Frostbit says Geneva Conventions, aka Canadian to-do list. Eh? Hypocrite says Germany uses mustard gas during World War I. Also Germany, shotguns are evil and anyone who carries a shotgun will be executed. Also, the answer to 1984 is 1776. Yeah, you know why they banned shotguns? Because they were so effective in the trenches, and the Americans brought them over en masse, and they were just cleaning up with those. It was great. Repton 94 says, so frick the UK monarchy? I just frick the UK government in general. And the monarchy has backed this up, and they've endorsed this, which is absolutely horrible. I mean, the cut king over there endorsing this. But yeah, I mean, the government in general, including the monarchy. Razor Gone for 5. Thank you so much for the 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Appreciate you very, very much. Okay, I think we are indeed caught up. Are we? Oh my God. How'd that happen? How did I catch up there? Let me check something real quick. Let me check something behind the scenes. Okay, let's see. Let's see right now. Okay, well, there's not that many people. I was seeing if anybody's live right now. Appears there's not that many people live right now. Too bad. I'm trying to find anybody who's live right now. Trying to see if I can do it. Let me see. Let me actually pull this up over here. See if I can find somebody else here who's live. Let's see who is live right now. Not that person. Trying to see if I can get anybody I can direct this to who's live right now. But that's it. That's all I got today. That's all I've got today. You know what? I will drop this over to my good friends at Midnight's Edge because they're actually really, really based and really great. So I'll drop this over to those guys because they're great. But that's what I got for tonight. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I'll be back tomorrow for sure. And then I'm going to be going to Germany the next day, so I'll be traveling. So that day's going to be iffy on me streaming. So watch out for my Wednesday, my time, Asia time, maybe a little weird, but I'll be streaming while I'm in Germany. For all of you, thank you. Appreciate you so much. Let me get this. Marksman said, did you see the Dankula dog memes? No. I did not. Oh, then the pug, the Nazi pug, I've seen that. Was there a new one? I don't know. Yamoto Man said, email me and I'll do the Dankula meme on the next one. Yamoto Man says, I mean, I think the true solution to 1984 is the First and Second Amendment specifically, and add a little privacy that things we've been losing. True, very true. All right, guys, thank you so much. Stay based. I'll catch you later. Never forget.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Low,